I wanted to chime in with Julianne's comment about America, and yeah, I'm American, and as far as I know, you're not. But I take the point that America is not being very clear-minded and thinking very hard or making tough choices about the future, and I think that that's a new thing. And it bothers me, and it reminds me of Japan. But, you know, if we want to, let's throw stones at America for sure. We need to have stones thrown at us. But at the same time, I mean, development economics tends to show that once the GDP per capita of a developing country has reached $6,000, the GDP per capita, the average standard of living, will increase much faster if that country moves away from an export-driven model and towards a domestic demand-driven model. And if we think about countries like Japan and perhaps maybe even Germany, you know, one feels a little bit more in the company of others when the United States has its problems.
Yes, well, I'm not American, as you can tell from my posh, Sloaney British accent. And I've got 2 points to make. Firstly, I mean, what's going on right now on different sides of the Atlantic is the most fascinating laboratory test case in how to respond to a slump. Because the UK right now is embarking on a strategy of trying to bite the bullet. We are engaged in pretty tough fiscal medicine that's going to come down the road. And economists are very, very strongly divided about whether this is utter madness or not. Some of my colleagues on the FT, like Martin Wolf, think it's completely bonkers and say it's going to tip the UK into a recession and make it even harder to actually pay off the debt. Others say actually this is showing that a government is prepared to take tough medicine and deal with its problems, and that in the medium to long term the UK will emerge stronger. Either way, what the US is doing essentially is a very bold psychological gamble, which is that if you give everybody enough punch in the party, they will all feel cheerful enough to not notice how grim things have been, and suddenly everything will look a lot better and America will grow its way out of the problems. You know, I think that's a pretty bold call. But I guess the real problem is right now is that, you know, America has the sugar coating on the pill. Quantitative easing, if you like, is the sugar coating on the pill of the need to actually get serious about drawing up proactive fiscal plans. The danger is that everyone keeps sucking the sugar and doesn't ever actually take the pill.
People, I think, unfortunately, in the political debate on fiscal policy, it's either taxes or spending. And it should be revenues and expenditures, because revenues are a product of taxes times the income that's being taxed, tax rates times the income being taxed. And you can generate more revenues without higher tax rates. At least that's a supply side mantra. And I think one of the things that I have drawn some encouragement from recently, post the election, is, and this Fiscal Policy Commission, is that there seems to be a growing consensus that what we need to have is a tax code that stimulates economic growth. I've heard it from every economist that I've read on the subject on both sides of the long-running debate on fiscal policy. The big disappointing thing to me, and I agree that the U.S. has been kicking the can down the road too long on fiscal policy questions. The road is near its end. There's a cliff out there, not very far ahead.